What's up, Going Places? Thanks for doing an interview with me.
What's up, Grim? Happy to be here.
Hey, Grim. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Grim.
Right on. And I was fortunate that you guys hit me up, and you also gave me access to your new album that's coming out.
Right.
And I listened to it, and I wanted to give you kind of my overall impressions and ask you some questions about that.
Sure.
And I also went back and listened to all the old albums too, just to try to, kind of get a timeline going in my mind. And before this interview, I was actually listening to your first album and thinking to myself, like, man, these guys have been really solid, like right out of the gate. And that Girl Songwriting 101, was that the very first release that you guys put out?
Yeah, officially. Right?
Yeah, it was the first.
Not like demo, but first real release.
A few months before that, we had the thing with Mutant Pop.
Yeah, warm up. I forgot
Warm
about
up,
that. My bad.
Right. So we did one of those short run CDs that Tim used to do. I don't remember if that was like 6 months or so.
Yeah, about 6 months or so
before Girl Songwriting came out. But
there was, 4 songs on there, right?
4 or 6, something. Yeah, I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
So you got in the Mutant Pop catalog, man. That's pretty rad.
We snuck in kind of before he shut it down the first time. Yeah. That was 2002.
Yeah.
2002.
Yeah, that's impressive, man. I had a friend, Billy, from Richmond. He was in the band The Remotes, and they put out one of those CD releases too. But it's interesting because 2002, I was in college, and I grew up listening to all kinds of different music, and I loved punk at that point, but I wasn't really turned on to like underground pop punk so much at that point. So you guys were like coming out of the gate swinging pretty early on, I feel like, because in my mind, my introduction to, like Insubordination Records and, like what was going on the East Coast with like the Urge and all this, all the kind of newer post Lookout bands, like it was all like pretty astonishing to me, because where I was living and stuff, everyone was into like hardcore music, and like the punk that people listened to was more like skate punk, if they even listened to it, or they're into like whatever was post punk, like and all kinds of other stuff.
Yeah.
So coming back to that, like what was a very familiar sound, was very cool to see that people were into it. And like I think a lot of it, I'm 45, I don't know about you guys, but
same thing.
Same age, yeah.
45.
So we probably have very similar musical roots, and like the stuff that grabbed us, early on probably makes a big difference into the taste that we maintained. But anyway, man, about the album, just looking at like your progression, one of the things I wrote down that I wanted to say is like, you guys have always come across as an unpretentious band, but one that's very refined in like your craft, which is cool. It's kind of like, I don't think anyone strives to be underrated or underappreciated, but I feel like you guys put out very high quality songs and albums, and those who know, and those who are into this kind of music, like, will definitely know you guys and appreciate it. But it's just, it's like, I don't know, you're like a diamond in the rough, it seems.
I think I know what you mean. Like, I guess we don't, I don't know, push it as hard as some other bands maybe, or I don't know,
market ourselves very well.
Yeah.
We suck at that, actually, but no.
But yeah, it's, we've been trying. I wish more people knew about us, but we do the best we can,
But yeah, to your point, like we do, and I could say especially Richie and Victor, because they write the majority of the songs, I think put a lot of time into the songs and the arrangements. Like, I sit and watch them practicing these harmonies and everything. So like, it's not just done like off the cuff,
No, I mean? This is definitely something that, I mean, specifically when we're recording, like Richie will be like, can you sing that note slightly higher and do it again. But it works, it ends up working really well. And we appreciate that we don't fight each other on it, because we know we want it to do the right thing. We want it to sound good.
Oh, that's great. I mean, you guys have a lot of integrity as far as the quality that you songwriting quality and the recording, production, everything. And even the way that you present yourselves as a band, I think it's kind of, it's refreshing when a band's kind of understated like you guys are. You sort of, you do your music and you present it, and here it is, and you're friendly and you're cool, and down to earth guys, and like, you know, that's all there is, really. It's not like some bands are kind of on this like crusade to like conquer or, you know, get everybody's attention and stuff. And yeah, you know, like the music is really what matters. So I think you guys are nailing it.
It's this, you know what I mean? It is what it is. It's three guys that met each other in high school.
Yeah, crazy.
And we've been playing together since 2000.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
25 years.
25 years.
Where did that happen?
It really, like people say it all the time, but it really is in this case just three friends that are just making music. So that, I guess maybe that's why it comes off that way, because that's what it is.
And more importantly, it gives us a reason to hang out, you know,
Yeah.
like it's like this is like our weekly hangout. We play for like 2 hours with BS, and you know, it's the only chance we really get a chance to hang out. So it's great. It forces us to keep the friendship together, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's great, man. What a gift. What a gift. It's pretty rare. I mean, I've been in bands, you know, and you know how it is with bands. They come and they go, and people go on and move away or start a new chapter of life, or people get into conflicts, and all kinds of stuff can happen. So just that longevity is like just remarkable in itself. But it seems like, you know, you guys have such a natural chemistry musically, and it seems like your friendship is, you know, more than 2 decades deep. So it's a solid foundation for like
the friendship's the most important part.
Yeah,
that's like what kept us together.
Yeah,
and it's your lifestyle, and it's your passion, and it's your it's an outlet. It's like obviously sustainable because you keep going and you keep putting out like this. I'll finally get around to talking about your new album now. Like, I really enjoyed it, and you know, I've listened to plenty of pop punk music, you know, over the years. Like I got really obsessed and into all the little, you know, most obscure stuff that I could find, and I know I kind of, you know, when I hear something, I can automatically associate it with something else, but it's rare that I'll actually feel something when I listen to it. And I felt some feelings when I was listening to some of your songs, and like this particular album, I think it has a lot of variety, but like you, Frank, you were saying, like for the purist, you know, you were hoping that people would be satisfied. I think they will be satisfied. I think
hopefully,
like, pure pop punkers, but you guys have musical chops to go beyond that. I mean, you know, everything from like Beatles style chords and progressions that are very nuanced and like really satisfying compositions, where you have like a riff that works really well, that feeds into like a good melody and a good verse, and then it comes back around. And you know, the way you guys arrange is very, you know, very professional sounding to me. So it was the song that I'm thinking of, and I don't want to like put any spoilers out there, but if I could just kind of hum the melody, I think you'll know the one.
Go ahead.
The album's coming out. So I don't know when you're going to post this, but the album's out basically like in a week or so. So
yeah, so it's
any
fine.
titles, anything you want to ask, feel free.
Yeah, well, the opener, the tease, You're the Tease, that's a great opener, man, and I really dug it, and it kind of set the tone and got me kind of hooks in like pretty early on. But there was a couple songs in. There was a song with a chorus where it's like, in my mind, feeling the regret all the time. Yeah. And that like got me a little bit. Like I was like, damn, like that, you know, it kind of made me feel something. And in some songs, like I don't want to read into it too much, because you guys are the ones who really know what the songs are about and where they came from, you know, what they're inspired by. But certain songs you can kind of feel like, oh, this might actually mean something. You know, there might be some real story behind this or some feeling behind it. And I got that impression from that song and plenty of the others. And then there are some songs that were just for fun, you know, obviously the cool cover that you did, Johnny Be Good, and a lot of good variety and sounds too. Because I mean, pop punk can be very one-dimensional, and you don't want to just bore people with the same, you know, distorted guitars and, you know, 1-4-5. You know, you do like 20 songs of that, and it's kind of like, yeah. Then what's really standing out, you know? So you guys mixed it up quite well. But that particular song out of all the ones really stuck with me. But the release overall, I think you guys put out the single first, like back in the, I don't know, maybe in the spring or something.
Imperfect.
Yeah, Imperfect came out at the very end of May.
Yeah. Because I grabbed that and put it in one of my little skate videos on Instagram. That's a really good song too. So Yeah, it's a great accomplishment. So I think people are going to dig it. And I think what I get from listening to your guys' music is it challenges me to sort of, look at my own songwriting a little bit differently and maybe in a more focused way and see like what's possible. Because I think probably something we have in common is we like hooky music, we like catchy music, we like melodies, but you guys are obviously well versed enough to challenge yourself to go beyond like just the script. You go off script sometimes, which is good.
Yeah. Definitely we have similar tastes but different tastes. I don't know if you can understand what I mean by that. Is like we listen to pop punk, we all listen to pop punk, but we definitely have a little bit different inspirations in how we write and I guess just collaborating with each other. Like we'll bring each other songs, like we'll add to each other's songs, but for the most part, we don't show each other a song and we're like, well, this is bad. Like we always find good in it and we make it work. You know what I mean? For the most part, I can't say I could think of any song we're like, no, can't do that. Right? We always, for the most part, we've always like, yeah, like that'll work. We'll keep most of it, or maybe can we just change a little bit, whatever. But we make it work, and it always seems to work out for us in that sense. I don't think there's really ever been an issue with like, no, I don't want to play that. We've never had.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
That's what it really means to be a band, in my opinion, is to have those conversations and not have just one strong personality that's ruling over everything, because then it's just someone else's, project.
Yeah.
And I know that with songwriting, it can be very personal and maybe sometimes you want to have it a certain way, but my instinct is when you're playing with other people, especially your friends, like you gotta, see where things could possibly fit and be a little more flexible. I think the results come out better.
Right?
Yeah. Well, one thing I wrote down as a note, which I think is kind of notable, there's plenty of pop punk bands that have two vocalists, but not a lot of punk bands that have two vocalists in the same song singing different verses. And I think that's kind of a cool distinction that you guys have, because if you look at like Riverdale's or Bottle Rocket or Sicko, or bands that had two vocalists, usually it's like, okay, this is his song and this is his song and this is his song and this is his song. With you guys, it just blends and your vocals are very compatible with one another. And it's almost like when you're listening to a rap song and the next MC steps up to the mic and it's like a groove, but
that's how we planned it. That's how we planned it. Yeah. We're like, who's Ad Rock and
but it's cool. It's a cool sound, and the cool thing about the way you guys sing is it's pop punk enough, but it's not like obnoxiously nasally or like, you know what I mean? It's not going overboard. It's still very tuneful, and I know you guys nail your harmonies too. So it's it's easy on the ears.
Yeah. Harmonies are very important for us, and
we work at them, right?
We definitely work at them. Make sure we get them right for the recording session.
And I think that whole two lead vocalist thing basically just came about because when we started playing together, Richie had another band. He was singing in it. Victor and I were in another band. He was singing lead in that. So we stopped playing and we're going, who's going to sing? Okay, they're both singers.
We'll just split it.
Yeah.
They'll both sing.
It worked out well.
And then it went from there. But like now it's become such like an identifying part of the band. Like if Richie like shows me like a demo or shows us demos of like songs that he's working on, they sound great. But then like when Victor sings on top of it and their voices go together, like in my head I go like, oh, now it really sounds like Going Places when I hear both of their voices together. And it's cool because like I can remember something from Save the World. I don't remember what song it was. And Richie had done a demo and it was him singing everything. And there was like one particular background vocal. And I said to him like, oh, I could picture Victor singing that. And Richie said, yeah, I wrote that part specifically for Victor's voice. You know what I mean?
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, when each of you come in for your part, it always seems to add something to the song. Like it kind of like, it keeps you hooked and it keeps it fresh and it keeps the energy level up. And it's cool, man. I like what you guys do. Were you guys like musically trained at all? Did you play in the band or did you take lessons or anything like that?
You go first.
Yeah, I'll go first. I took guitar lessons very briefly when I was younger, maybe for like a year or something. And but that was like when I was in high school, like at 15 maybe. And then I stopped after that, and I just learned the rest of my own. But before that, I played clarinet in school, and I learned like sheet music from there. And just there was a piano around my house. I picked that up. My parents played, and yeah, that's the formal training that I have.
Okay.
So I started when I was 5. My parents sent me to piano lessons, and I did that for like 10 years. That's when I learned to read sheet music, bass, treble. Both of my parents are musicians. They've been in bands their whole life. Prior to that, both of my grandparents on both sides were musicians. My grandfather on my father's side was the president of the musicians union in the state of Florida, and he played was a house man at the Copacabana.
Oh, wow.
So he played with every famous person you can imagine. He played with like Jimmy Durante, Judy Garland, like all these famous people. So I have a lot of music in my blood. So
wow, that's pretty cool.
I didn't know that.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah. So it's that's where I get it from. It's you know, I'll never forget this. I love telling the story. I was in a previous band with Frank, and my grandfather heard us playing. It was more of a hardcore band, I'd say.
Yeah,
right?
it was heavier.
So I was the singer, right? And my grandfather was in the car, and he heard one of these songs. He goes, "What is he playing? That's not singing." and I just cracked up. I was like, "It's not what you used to. Yeah, it's a little different."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I have a comment about that, but Frank, what about you? What's your musical background?
I don't have any cool stories like that or anything. As you could probably tell from listening to me play, I was kind of late to the game. I started taking bass lessons, I think when I was like 17 or 18, basically just to be in that band with Victor. My formal training was like a month of bass lessons. And then when the music place I was going to said like, oh, you owe us for these last month of lessons, I paid for that. And then I never went back again. So I kind of just continued learning from playing in the band and hanging out with Richie. But, you know, I always joke around that I'm from like the Dee Dee Ramone school of bass playing. So it's very minimalistic.
Yeah. I noticed your bass lines. I mean, it seems very obvious when you listen to your music that you guys are all very capable musicians. And I think a lot of that's probably just innate and you know, based on how we grew up and the kind of music that everyone was into, you know, and the love for it. And once you get hooked, you start to develop your skills just, I think, as a result of playing a lot and enjoying what you do, trying to push yourself. But yeah, what I was going to comment on is like now, I think that I don't know what the answer is, but I'd like to know, like, it seems like the music you make now is something your families would be able to relate to, you know, and like, oh yeah, like there's a little bit of 60s rock and roll, there's a little bit of doo-wop, and you know, there's harmonies and stuff. So are your families pretty like into the going places compared to like past bands and stuff like that?
Yeah.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, as far as like the music itself is, they like that a lot. Maybe some of our older lyrics, like they probably weren't into, but you know, we wrote those when we were pretty close to being teens, you know. So they definitely changed over time. But yeah, the music, I've always loved the Beatles, and my parents love the Beatles too. So they definitely relate to that. Like a song like TV Girl, they would love. I don't think they've heard it yet, actually, but they will soon.
Yeah. Like my father always listened to heavier music, like Cream and Hendrix and that type of stuff. So I think he's always felt like we were a little too poppy. So it's not that he dislikes it or anything. It's just not what he grew up on or anything. Like I remember like when I first started getting into all this stuff, and he heard me listening to the Mr. T Experience. Yeah. And I told him like, oh, it's a punk band. He goes, this is not punk rock. This is a bubblegum band. You know what I mean? Because like he liked heavier stuff, but yeah, like family members like appreciate it. And I think to the point you're saying, like definitely more so than like, you know, when we were younger and listening and like playing stuff like Minor Threat or something like that. Yeah, this stuff is a lot more accessible.
Yeah, same thing. My parents always, you know, supportive of me playing and stuff. And like I said, they've been in bands their whole life, so. I don't necessarily know they love it, but I don't think they appreciate that I'm still playing at my age and still able to do it, and you know that I still love it because my parents, after they were in bands later on, they became like a wedding band till like they were 60 years old. Like, and they played covers every weekend for my entire life. You know what I mean? So they played every kind of music you could think of, from like 70s to, pop to heavy stuff. Like, they played it all in these like cover bands. And so they appreciate that I'm still able to play and have fun doing it. And then I also have a family of my own, my wife and 2 children. And it's weird. My wife could care less. I'm not going to lie. She's no interest. It's not her thing. She does not like punk or pop punk or anything like that, which is fine. I have no problem with that. My daughters kind of are into it. Like they follow us on Instagram and all that stuff. But I think that's just they're teenagers and that's what they're supposed to do, right? But it's funny. They'll hear a song. They're like, "Dad, I can't believe you wrote a song called 'Let's Go to the Beach.'" They're like, "That's so." I don't know what. They're like, "That's so you." I'm like, because I wrote it. That's why it's so. But it's stuff like that. It's just so funny. Like, it's stuff that I would never think. You know what I mean? But I just find it interesting. I don't know. But they appreciate that I can still do it, and it's a big deal to them because their friends are like, "Oh, your dad's in a band and he's still playing." So it's cool.
Well, I will say, add this. My son has told me Going Places is the worst band in the world. He's not a fan. Wow. But I think that's just because that probably is like on a day that I have to punish him or something like that.
Man. What about Rich?
Yeah, I don't have any kids. So I don't have these types of stories to tell. Yeah. But the rest of my family likes it, so that's cool.
Right on. Yeah, I got a 9-year-old son. I don't know how old your kids are, but I've throughout my time with my wife, who I've been with for almost 20 years, like, she's had zero interest in, try to like show her, I got this magazine in Germany, like, look, and she's like, like, it's just, there was no level I could reach where it would make her care. Unless if it was bringing in money, that'd be a different thing. But
yeah, same here.
Yeah.
If we were like on tour opening for like someone she's heard of, then it'd be like, oh, okay, then it's okay. But right now it's like you're playing at this a place, a bar somewhere. Like, I can come see you. Yeah. I don't want to.
Let's take it
have to.
Yeah. We do it for our own satisfaction anyway. So.
Oh yeah, we love it.
We've been losing money with this band for 25 years.
25 years.
Why gonna keep going?
Why stop now?
I know what it takes to put out a proper release, and you do end up, paying for it in a lot of ways. But another thing too is, and I think this is probably inspiring to your close friends, family, and whatnot. It's a creative outlet too, because to me, there's a difference between being a musician and like treating it as a job and making money, earning it, but maybe not playing the music that you want to play necessarily. But like when you're creating your own songs and you're creating your own world, like there's something pretty cool about that concept because it just came from you guys, and you weren't doing it, to chase a paycheck or to chase fame or something like that. It's what you guys are into. And I love that just example, for people our age too. I think to still have something you're passionate about that's creative, I think it's really a great example to set.
Well, I agree 100%. Listen, we know we're not writing top 40, hits, which is not something pop punk, let's be realistic, is not probably the most popular type of music at the moment, nor has it been over the past 25 years. But that doesn't mean we don't want to put that out because that's what we enjoy doing, right? So we could find a way to write a song that people would be interested in. Now, would they ever hear it from us? Probably not. But we could write a song like that. It's just not our style, right? And there's nothing wrong with it, right? I listen to stuff on the radio. Maybe it's not all my favorite, but some of it I'll listen to and I can get into a little bit. But I'm not gonna write a Taylor Swift song, right? I could.
Could you?
I probably could.
I would like to hear that.
That's a challenge. I write a Taylor Swift song. All right.
Well, that brings me.
I'll have a Taylor Swift song.
All right, cool.
Well, then I have to ask. It wasn't on my list, but did you guys watch the K-pop Demon Hunter movie? Are you familiar with that?
I've heard of it.
What is it called?
So it's called K-pop Demon Hunters, and it's a Netflix animated movie that's a musical.
Definitely
and
not.
The reason I bring it up is because it's really popular out here, and K-pop and all that stuff in the Bay Area is a big deal. But the songwriting is pretty awesome. Like
really?
the catchiness of the songs. I mean, it's pop music for sure.
I like a good pop song. Like
I mean, the hook and stuff, like, it got me feeling some feelings, and I was like, yeah, like, I can dig this. I mean, it's super, not for me necessarily, but that was, as a fellow musician, I encourage you to check it out. K-pop Demon Hunters, and
okay.
hey, your kids will definitely know about it. If you ask
my
them.
kids know it. I remember over the summer them talking about it. But like K-pop is that like the man like BTK?
Close enough.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So it's kind of my take on K-pop. I'm not like an expert by any means, but it's kind of similar to J-pop, like idol kind of style pop songwriting with like huge choruses and really catchy, almost to the point where it can be like nauseatingly catchy. but in this case, it was really well done. So you should check it out.
But what is different or the difference between like K-pop and like regular pop music here, like Sabrina Carpenter or Justin Bieber or something like that? Like, what's the difference?
I mean, the aesthetic, it's kind of, maybe it's more of like a cultural thing. It's a very manufactured kind of music, it's like they put these groups together. The groups aren't the ones writing the songs, but they're performing the songs, and the performance is all this big production, and there's a lot of choreographed dancing and a lot of eye-catching images and stuff. I gotta go in my son's room now. He's using the bathroom. But it's interesting. I'm a middle school teacher. I've been a middle school teacher for almost 20 years. So, anything the kids are into, I end up hearing about it. And so I ask them about it and stuff. And they try to educate me on J-pop and K-pop and all this stuff. And that's how I figured it out.
Are you sick of this 6'7" crap? If one more kid says 6'7" to me, I'm a teacher myself. So
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I teach school.
What do you teach? What level? What grade level?
High school. I teach high school social studies.
So the high school kids are still saying it. Okay, so
it's annoying. It's so
I teach,
annoying.
I teach 7th and 8th graders, and I always figure if they're saying it, then the high school kids have probably moved on from it because
no, they're still idiots. I mean, they're still doing exactly the same thing.
I don't really know if it actually means anything, but I do hear it a lot, and I think you and I probably both survived worse trends as far as sayings and things like that. But yeah, it's like this Italian brain rot thing is pretty ridiculous. You know about that?
No,
I've heard of that from my kids. Yeah, I don't know what all the phrases are and everything, but I've heard them mention Italian brain rot.
Well, yeah, it's all based on like memes and stuff, and it's very nonsensical. And I think the brain rot stuff seems to be hitting with the younger kids, like elementary school and middle school. But that's funny. That's cool that you're a teacher, though. What do the other guys do? You teach, and what about Rich and Frank?
I'm a software engineer.
Right on.
Yeah, I work for like advertising tech and write software in that area.
Okay.
Yeah, and I do accounting, so nothing too exciting or anything.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, those are all like solid careers, man.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I always knew is that I wanted to be able to have a steady job and have that. That's one part of my life, and then like the hobbies and the passions are another part, and like one feeds into the other, but they're different worlds. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
it
would be tough. I mean, it would be probably pretty much impossible to try to make this your life or your career. Or you can't pay bills with this.
You can't pay bills like that.
Only a very few can.
Yeah,
those who make it.
Well, my only example of that I know personally is Cody. From Bottle Rocket and Millingtons, and he his life is not like a glamorous life. I mean, the amount of traveling and touring that is necessary in order to sustain that. Plus, he makes some money from royalties and stuff, but I know that like the other guys in the band also have jobs on the side too, and it's a grind, So
yeah, you gotta be committed, and like you said, you gotta be willing to be out on the road a lot to to keep money coming in. And even with that, I don't know his finances or anything, but I'm sure, like you said, it's not glamorous by any means.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
Sorry, our latest royalty check. I mean, we should live off that easily.
Yeah.
We made a six. What was it? A quarterly, right? It was a big $20 for a quarterly, and we had like something like $500,000 something. And I'm like, we got $20 out of it. So like, yippee!
Yeah, I was doing near the end of me doing Grim Deeds. I was preparing little Excel sheets for the tax guy, the accountant that we used, and I was always losing, money. But anytime I would celebrate, like, I got, $80 of downloads in this amount of time, and then it's like, well, how much did you spend on everything to make it? And it's like, well,
$1,200 now.
Yeah, all the wind goes out of my sails. But let me ask you about, since we're kind of talking about lifestyle and stuff like that. Something that I feel like you guys have always done a good job with is just navigating the scene, without kind of getting caught up with anything, negative or drama or weird, politics and stuff like that. Because it seems to be just human nature. Like all communities are going to have it. And when I was new to the pop punk world and I was posting on the message board and stuff, that was my first taste of like, wow, man, some of these people are really mean and like, saying crazy stuff and like super negative and clicky, and I was like, it just seemed almost ironic to me because the music itself was not like tough guy hardcore or anything. It was just pop punk music, but yet there was still like, kind of a hierarchy and pecking order, which, like I said, I think that's natural. But you guys always seem to have a pretty laid back, down to earth approach to being a band in the first place. So has that been your experience too, like just dealing with other bands and people? And
we just keep it simple.
We're not ones to start beef or get into that. We're just like, we're doing it to entertain ourselves. Let's be realistic, right? We're not looking to get into arguments over whose music is better, who sounds better, who sounds like whose albums all sound the same. Our albums all sound the same. We're okay with that. Like, we're not here to tell people what to do with their own music. If it's your music, you like it, who cares? I'm happy for you. We don't need to. Yes, we want people to listen to our music. We're not saying we don't want that, right? Of course we do. But whether another band likes us or not, you know what? Unless you're, Green Day going to bring us on tour, it's not going to matter to us, right? So it's more of just we do it for us. That's the way I look at it.
And like you were saying, it with the message board stuff, especially years ago. But overall, I think our experience has always been it's very cliquey. Like the pop punk scene
everything about
is so cliquey. Like,
your friends.
Right. No, but what I'm saying, but yeah, it's exactly right. It's exactly like Victor's saying. Like, if you have a bunch of friends, they're going to come out to the shows and they're going to support you, and the clubs are going to like you because you had 30 of your friends come. The problem for us, I have 2 friends. They're in the band with me. So that's, I don't have fucking 40 friends to come to the show or anything. And I guess we never were the guys to go out and make friends with all these other bands so that, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Like, we have a smaller following, but I've always said it's cool that some people, like, we never met you in person, but you've heard of our band. We have people in Japan liking our stuff and all over the country. So even though it's small, to me, that's cooler than having 30 people that I know come to the show that were playing down the block. You know what I mean? A few years ago when we went out to, I think Indiana for Mom's Basement Fest, and strangers were coming up to us saying, I've been listening to you for 20 years. I'm happy to finally get to see you guys. Like, that's cool.
Live 1,000 miles from our home, like that's a really big deal. I think the thing that really struck me, which was really cool with doing one of these type of interviews, we did, what was it, Singapore or where was it?
Indonesia?
Yes.
Indonesia, like
probably with Prabhu, right?
Yes. That was like so cool. Like just the idea of like it's literally the other side of the world, and just even if one person heard us out there, that's so crazy. Like, how does that happen? I understand how it happens, but I just don't like 3 guys from Staten Island who met in high school have songs that people across the world have heard and actually know, and maybe even like a song or two that they're willing to talk to us about it. But you're in 3,000 miles away. You're talking. It's weird to us. It's not in a bad way. It's just it's cool that like our songs connect to people in ways that we didn't mean to. It's not like we said we want 40-year-old men to hear this and a 12-year-old girl to hear the same song and get the same thing out of it. We're not thinking that. We're just thinking we want to write for ourselves, and if it connects with people, great.
Yeah, the band actually started as a joke, believe it or not.
Legit joke.
Yeah, and it turned into something. So
it was a mistake. Now it was a mistake in my basement. We were just hanging out one day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, that's cool that you guys talked to Prabhu. He's a really good musician too in his own right. I don't know if you ever heard his band Saturday Night Karaoke.
Yeah. Karaoke.
It's really good. And Japan, like I've always been really kind of obsessed with Japan, and I know they have a great scene, and I've got to play out there.
I say you played a few shows there, right?
Yeah, and their scene is very, very sincere and committed to like the love of that music, you know. And the bands out there are really good too. I think they're very humble about it, but they're like, you know, bands like the Hum Hums and like just a whole bunch of bands with really tight harmonies and really good musicianship, and it's really something. I think I think there's something essential kind of about the kind of music that we all like. You know, there's something that's almost timeless about it, and then the idea of people from all over the world being able to connect on that basis, I think that's really special. That's more special to me, like than like getting a bunch of friends from down the street to come and show up at the local show. Like that doesn't mean anything really, you know, but to know that you can talk to someone in Indonesia who knows your music, that means something. That's cool.
Exactly. Yeah. If you have your friends come to a show and tell you guys sounded good, that doesn't mean anything. I go see my friends' bands play. What do I say when they're done? You guys sounded great.
Yeah. Well, I want to shout out John Prophet Jr. and like the people who are facilitating this scene, who keep it going and have festivals and shows and have really good quality releases and good quality vinyl, and you know, that supporting it that way. And I don't know if Nate Demmel still does the Dummy Room, but that was a really cool thing as well.
Yeah, that was a good podcast, but he hasn't done an episode in a while from what I remember.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little out of the loop now, but I know there's still, you know, committed, designated labels, and there's still an ecosystem for this thing, even though it's probably pretty small.
It's very tight, very small.
John and Trisha are still doing Mom's Basement Records. This year is 10 years, so and they have like stuff coming out all this month, like for the next 6 weeks. I think they have a release every week. But like you said, it's getting small. Like Eccentric Pop still kind of put stuff out. They just put out the new Horror Section album. But it's not as consistent as Mom's Basement. So, you know, it's getting smaller and smaller, unfortunately.
Like when we all started listening to it, you had labels that were around, like even like Fat. You saw Fat's being sold, right?
Yeah.
So like all these bands got to go somewhere, right? And where are you going now? There's not a lot of options. I mean, obviously, you mentioned like Lookout, right? That's like we all started with like early Green Day with Lookout and Operation Ivy. And for us, I know specifically me, like Screeching Weasel, like bands like that, or like, you know, some of our favorite bands growing up, right? Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of places for bands like that to start anymore. Like, unless you're making a mom and pop one in your own basement. And then, you know, not that distribution is easy anywhere, because, I mean, let's be honest, how many albums, I'm talking about physical records, do you sell anymore, CDs or cassettes, or people doing 8 tracks, which is crazy and all that stuff. But it's the idea of like, you don't hear a lot of that anymore. Now it's, you know, people like self-producing, which is great, but you want that help from like that label, you know, that, you know, Mom's Basement's been great to us. We played, was it Mom's Basement Fest twice, right? Which was awesome. We had a great time doing that. And stuff like that, if you're not on a label, I don't know how you can do that, like get your name out in that way. Like, I mean, so I know we were just talking, we got played on a couple of radio stations recently. Obviously not, you know, Z100, but you know, it's the idea. It's a station, you know, that people who are listening to our kind of music are interested in. How else you get that done unless you have an album out on a label that could at least get your name out there? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It's something I've been thinking about a lot lately, because I feel like there was a time when the social media was really a good vehicle for getting people connected and promoting things and stuff like that. But I feel like at this point, it's almost like the biggest challenge is keeping people's attention for any amount of time.
For any
distractions and so much else going on. And I mean, like we were saying, this music is probably pretty irrelevant to people who aren't from our generation at this point, you know, unless they have like parents who maybe passed it down to them or something. Like, I mean, we're teachers. I don't think my kids, I mean, they might know Green Day or, you know, My Chemical Romance or something like that. But as far as, our kind of, you know, traditional, pure sort of pop punk, that's, everything has its time. I think it's cool that we're all still interested in it and that you guys are still creating the music, but it's, you know, who knows how long it'll be.
I'll tell you a funny story. You mentioned like parents passing it down. So my wife is a teacher and she's not into this music really, but she hears it in the house all the time because I'm playing it all the time. And last year she came home one day and she said, "You wouldn't believe it. This little kid in my class, his name is Steve. He was sitting there singing They Call Me Steve, the Teenage song." And so, and she said, she goes to him, "Steven, how do you know that song?" And he goes, "Oh, my daddy plays it for me."
Oh, so, nice.
So, you know, maybe this type of music will live on. You know what I mean?
It could come around. I mean, I'm now around the same age as most of my students' parents, which is, you know, when I've been teaching since 2008. And so like back then there's more of it was like a generation gap. And now it's like people our age have kids that age. So there is some hope, I guess, you know, if they have a good relationship with their parents and could get them turned on to something like that. So
I mean, look, I still listen to Billy Joel all the time because when I was a kid, that's all my mother played in the car was Billy Joel Greatest Hits Volume 1 and 2. I love Billy Joel now. I still, because that's all I heard growing up. And now my daughter loves Billy Joel because I played in the house all the time. So
yeah, same thing. My parents, like I said, they're musicians. They played 60s and 70s music in the house all the time, like nonstop. And believe it or not, my parents did not play the Beatles and weren't Beatles fans.
Oh, really?
They played everything but the Beatles. But I ended up being a big Beatles fan. But however that worked out. But it was more of like the Allman Brothers, like Southern rock. My parents, my dad, big on like Leonard Skinner, or like all that kind of stuff. And so I grew up on all that stuff. So same thing, Cream. You know, Eric Clapton. My dad loves Eric Clapton. Like stuff. I know all that stuff, and I if I hear it, I know people like, how do you know it? Like, because I used to hear it all the time. Like it's just something you're stuck with. You know, one time I remember being in the car and hearing Brian Setzer with the Stray Cats, right? They were right. Yeah. And like, it's so catchy. How do you not like that stuff? Like, you don't have to love that music to like the songs. I like people like, oh, you like that? Yeah, it's a catchy song. I whatever it is. You know, I mean, like I don't love disco music, but I guarantee you I can name 50 disco songs. You know, it's just you know it. You know, because it's just something you heard and it sticks to you.
Plus, we grew up in an era where like even the jingles and commercials were super catchy, and the theme songs, and cartoons were super catchy. Like everything.
I can name 100 cartoon songs. Great.
Yeah,
I'd be Googling and trying to find stuff on YouTube, like theme songs from old cartoons and stuff. Well, listen, guys, I don't want to take too much more of your time. I really appreciate it. It's been a fun interview and fun conversation to have. And my closing remarks are mainly I just want you to know it means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to other people who love this kind of music, that you guys keep doing it and that you have this great thing going. And I hope you guys will just continue doing it, and wish you, best of luck with this release. And
thank you.
And if you have any other like plans or goals that you'd like to share or anything like that, let us know.
Oh, I mean, we have some shows coming up that we're going to be announcing after the album comes out. Nothing too crazy, just in Brooklyn and Staten Island. And then after that, I guess if these guys keep writing songs, then we'll do another album.
Yeah. We'll eventually have something out, I'm sure. It's just give us some time to see how this one goes, but we'll get bored and we'll have to record something else again. So.
This was quick for us, though.
Yes. Yeah, this because usually it's a 10-year
Save the World was 21, so this is only 4 years or 4.5 years. That's like light speed for us.
Yeah, we really made a point to make sure we don't wait another 10 years this time.
Yeah, we said we don't have time to lose, so we might as well throw out another album.
I'm not getting any younger.
Go for it. And yeah, I hope, I go to the East Coast every once in a while, so hopefully our paths will cross someday. If you ever find yourself out in like the San Francisco area, let me know. I'd love to show you around and hang out.
Cool,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
cool.
I appreciate it.
Sounds
hey,
good.
if you can get us a show, no, I'm kidding.
I used to have some contacts. I don't know if they remember me anymore, but
Yeah, don't worry.
Pain and sorrow today and tomorrow seems as though he's here to stay. Things are not forgotten, times that were so rotten, wish it could just go away. Medicate me, help me with my focus, to adventure, just forget.